Hello. Remember how like 2 weeks ago we got new mics and everything sounded really cool and good? Well, we used those mics for this episode and unfortunately the audio file's corrupted. Which is probably my fault, I'm working on it, but that is just one of the many trials and tribulations of being a grown man running a podcast alone on YouTube. So for this episode, you'll just be hearing the audio from the camera, which doesn't sound as good as the mics, but should still be a fun episode. I'll see you there.
This thing's like solid.
It's a brick.
I held that one. It's a real nice. It's a good grip.
I like holding the mics. It feels like more legitimate.
Authentic, yeah. First podcast.
Woo!
Woo!
On that note, welcome to episode 11 of PonderCast.
Thank you for having me.
Dude, absolutely. This is not the first episode of the new year. I was about to say it is, but it is not. Well, welcome to the second episode of the new year. Today we are here with Eliza from Troubleshooter. How are you doing?
I'm pretty good. I've been sleeping like 12 hours a day for the past like 4 days. I'm finally like exiting that hibernation and feeling like a real person. Like yesterday was my peak day.
Yeah.
It was like, oh my god.
The day after Christmas is not real.
No, it's not. No. There's a whole build up to the holidays and you're like kind of have to come down from that.
Yeah.
So.
But we are finally out of holiday mode and into the weird in-between of Christmas and New Year's mode, which I feel like is almost worse because
it's terrible.
It doesn't feel like
everything is just awful, honestly. No, I'm just kidding.
Except for this podcast. Leave a like and subscribe to the channel.
This is fantastic. No, I honestly, the New Year's is so not exciting to me. I don't know how you feel about New Year's.
I love New Year's.
Okay, see, that's good. It's good to talk to someone who disagrees. Yeah, because I'm like, whatever.
Leave a like. Whose side are you on? Or comment.
Leave a like.
I mean, leave a like though.
Like if you love New Year's.
Also like
comment if you hate New Year's. Also like
Do both.
Follow if you hate New Year's. No, I don't. Maybe I'm more impartial. Like I'm not actively like New Year's.
Yeah,
it's
go
like,
to bed.
It's like I'm not Scrooge about New Year's or something. It's just like every New Year's I've had is so insignificant. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, a new one.
I don't know.
All right.
Gotta make the joke like, oh, I haven't showered since like last year.
Oh, I'm so
It's like
excited.
such a good one. Such a good one.
I love silly, corny New Year's jokes.
So there's a bright side.
But in 2023, something cool happened, which is the first evidence of the band Troubleshooter emerged.
Yes.
At some point in July on Instagram. I
Wow.
looked earlier,
Oh
but
my
I did
gosh.
not write it down.
He's tracking. He's tracking me.
I'm doing research.
Research. I love it. Yeah,
I'm a
because
journalist.
I'm always like lying about when it started. I'm like, oh, like May.
Actually,
Whatever.
I meant May. It started in May.
No, I don't think it did. I think you're right. What I think happened was, the way I track it is we were doing karaoke for my friend and bandmate and roommate Bunny's birthday, and that was when like my two friends who are also in the band, Thomas and Andrew, were like, okay, let's form a band. Like we were out at karaoke and we were like, let's do it. So it was like my friend, like mid-May, her birthday is, oh my god, I don't want to say, what if it's wrong? I think it's the I'm so bad at birthdays.
If that's wrong, I can overdub it with
Definitely.
the correct date.
Definitely do that.
I mean, I totally want to do that. If you heard that, that was organic.
Just cut it. Just cut it out. Just cut. Can we cut? Let's start over. No, I'm just kidding. So yeah, it was like, honestly, because I did singing lessons when I was younger, and I have a very specific memory of singing "Christmas Time Is Here" from the Peanuts, and my voice cracking horribly because I was so nervous, and also my voice was changing.
Yeah.
And it was traumatizing, and I never did. I was like, I'm done, because I had done like piano and voice, and like my vocal teacher, she was like an opera singer, so that was like a whole thing, and I was like, never again. I can't sing. That's so stupid. I'm not doing that again. Didn't forever. Was like, I don't know. I think occasionally I'd be like, I'd like record myself singing something or something embarrassing like that and then hear it and be like, that's horrible, like that, no one can ever see that. I don't know. We've all been there, right? And then Bunny and I just, like, she always did karaoke and we started doing it and I realized, like, okay, maybe I can, like, kind of sing. I'm not gonna be, like, Adele or something, but I could sing in a band where there's, like, instruments.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's, like, a different dynamic when it's, like, a
Absolutely.
rock band versus, like, singer-songwriter. I'm not, like, gonna be that person and I know it, but,
I mean, there are some very successful bands with, like, not great vocalists.
Oh, my God,
And I'm
absolutely.
not here to call anyone out except for the front bottoms. But, like, people have been very successful as long as it, like, sounds tonally appropriate.
Yeah,
like,
I think
fits
so.
the vibe of the
It just
art.
needs to fit the vibe.
But was there any, like, specific songs from the karaoke sesh that were like, alright, we kind of snapped on that one. Maybe we should start a band.
Well, I always do Heart-Shaped Box by Nirvana,
Hell yeah.
and I think I kind of snapped on that one that night. I had a few drinks, and my inhibitions were fully released.
Yeah.
And so I was just going off.
It's crazy how appealing the karaoke mic is.
Oh my
You're
God.
like
Well,
a Jaeger shot in.
oh
at
my
the
God.
Moose Bar.
a
in
couple of those.
Northeast.
Yeah, come on. A couple White Claws deep.
It's like-
3, you know what I mean? No, I don't know. Probably beer.
Y'all got Fleetwood Mac on there.
Oh my, no, literally.
I haven't done karaoke until like this year.
It's addicting.
Ever.
It's addicting.
And then
I
You don't
forced
like
him
it?
to do it.
No, hold on, Al, come to the mic.
Yeah, hold on, man.
Oh, also Al's here.
Hi,
Surprise.
Al.
This is what happened last time too. Hold on, can I see this?
Yeah, of course.
Ian hadn't done karaoke. What the hell? Until this year, because this man quit his job, and we were having like a job quitting celebration of sorts. So we were at the watering hole, and then there was karaoke, and I don't really know how people were feeling about it, but I think they were more on the fence, and I was like, all right, and I'm not even a karaoke guy like that, but I was like, all right, but if
You are.
I've only done it twice, and once was with you.
Okay.
Okay. So I was like, all right, but if I do it though, then y'all have to do it. So then I did Duality by Slipknot. And I was in the bar, literally like 2 people in there, and I'm like, like this fucking going crazy. And then I just like ignited the spot. Everyone wanted to do karaoke after that. Yeah, that's literally all I had to say.
Did you sing Fleetwood Mac?
I did. Us and our homie Drew, third Drew Carmen mention on the podcast. He has never consented to being mentioned on the podcast, but sorry, Drew. He had never heard Landslide. He said he'd never heard Landslide.
Okay,
So-
Quirked Up.
For real.
I don't even know that one.
No, I don't really know Stevie Nicks.
Not familiar.
But so I sang it and he ad-libbed.
Oh.
But the first one was Paranoid by Kanye.
Oh my God.
And
That was
that
a
got
good
it
one.
to like 6 people at the bar really, really
Oh,
going.
there's nothing like getting that little crowd.
It's like one person looking dead at you the whole time.
Oh my
It's like-
God. I love it. It's like 1 a.m. and there's that guy that's been there for like 10 hours and
Yeah.
he's just staring at you.
Just like a middle-aged woman having a tough
Or
night.
yeah, they're
just,
like, yeah,
really
they're like
intently
nodding their
listening.
head. Like, oh my God, yeah. So,
But Heart-Shaped Box.
and then Bunny always sings Creep and she kills it. Brings down the vibe a little bit, but in a good
Shout
way.
out to Radiohead.
Yeah. Shout out. Seriously, been my number one artist for like 3 years in a row.
Damn.
Very crazy.
Good shit.
I think maybe 2 years. I don't know. Anyway, Tom York. Love that guy.
Is he tall? This
No.
is off topic. but-
He's very small.
Okay, it seems like it.
Very small. Well, that's dramatic. I don't know. I don't want to call Tom York very small, but I think he's a rather
Al, can you Google how tall
small
Tom York
man.
is?
Yeah.
My like Wi-Fi at my apartment is Tom York's lazy eye. Like not the
Does he
password.
have a
like-
lazy eye?
Yeah, he has a lazy eye for sure. Yeah.
Huh.
New band with him and
Alright, hold up. Tom York is 5'5".
he's 5'5". Everybody.
The Kendrick Lamar of the Radiohead world,
Yeah, exactly.
in all aspects.
But have you heard of The Smile? That's his new band with
No.
Johnny Greenwood, I think.
Word, okay.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Good shit.
So I think Radiohead is over, but
Right.
it's done for now.
They did a lot.
They did enough. They really did. So yeah, Bunny sings Creep. That night, actually, I think it's Brass Monkey in LA. If you've heard of that, It's like pretty well known. Downtown LA, good karaoke spot, and it was like the line was very long, the queue was really long. I went up to this guy and I was like, dude, like we're about to leave. You need to give me my moment. Like we're all heading out, please. Please let me go, please. And he was like, fine. So I did get to go. Half of my friends didn't get to go. It was like the longest line ever. I think I bumped up like... There's nothing worse. You just want to go to karaoke to hear yourself sing. Maybe that's just me. I want to hear me and my friends sing. I don't care about any of those other people. I will, like, I'll be, like, vibing with them, but the whole time I'm just thinking, when is it my turn?
Yeah, and when you sign up and you're like, in the moment, and I'm like, oh
and then you wait 2 hours.
There's like 7 people in the queue, and it's like, well,
right.
I've forgotten what song I chose. I'm in a different conversation now.
Yeah.
I've had a drink since then.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, a couple
For
drinks.
real.
Yeah, you're just patiently waiting
But-
until the moment's kind of done. But at that point, I think I had enough drinks that the moment was not done.
How is the LA bar scene and also the LA music scene? Because everyone I've talked to so far on this podcast does their thing in Minnesota. You have done something a lot of Midwesterners have not done, which is escape the Midwest. So, like,
Yeah,
if you could just talk about LA
of course.
to any degree.
I'm gonna probably bother like all of my friends that are actually from LA talking about LA when I'm from Minnesota, which yeah.
This podcast is not for West Coasters.
No, F them. Seriously. No. Love those guys. Some of them. You know, I never was gonna be in a band. Like, that was never on my...
Mhm.
That was never
The goal.
the goal. I think it just happened that I met the right people. Like, everyone in LA. Much like if you find the right group here, there's just, like, a plethora of creatives, like, everywhere. And there it's, like, double that amount. So, I don't know, the music scene is extreme, like, everybody I know is involved in the music scene. And that might be because that's who I surround myself with. But the bar scene, I don't go out that much. Like,
That's fair.
I try, there's, like, honestly, I go out for karaoke and, like, to play pool.
Yo.
We gotta play pool sometime.
I'm so
Yo.
down.
Alright,
There's
that-
this place called Koray, and it is so sick. It's just like the most hole in the wall in a strip mall billiards place.
Hell yeah.
That's a good time.
That sounds like the type of place.
That
I
place
need
is
to
a
be.
really good time. So we do that, go to karaoke. There's a few spots, like, there's a place called Zebulon, and yeah, that place is like, I don't know, infamous. I've had my time with all of them, you know what I mean? Like, I moved out there, I was like, oh my god, Zebulon. Like, there's always shows there. They have, like, a, you know, every night of
I'll
the
show
week.
you
Oh my
this
god.
later.
No, come.
The way Al has been so
Yeah.
on billiards in the past, like, 8 months.
I don't want to talk about this like with like my words right now.
Zebulon.
But, yeah, but that's crazy.
Are you...
Yeah.
Have you been to this Zebulon?
Nah, but I'm gonna.
You're
Oh,
going?
shit.
Anyway, let's not talk
Let
about
me
that.
mark my calendar. That's sick. Zebulon's a really good music venue. Like, there's a lot of good artists that go through there. I'm pretty sure, you know, Carly from Wednesday and MJ
Mhm.
Lenderman.
Word.
They just did a whole set. They just did a set there. I think I saw like Cherry Glazer there. If you ever listen to Cherry,
Shit.
yeah.
Sick.
So there's like a good amount of LA.
Mm.
Not even. Well, she's from LA, but like I don't know, all over the place. There's always shows.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm not answering your question super well, but I'm like,
That's totally valid.
Am
I asked you how's LA.
How's LA?
That's pretty.
there's like
open-ended.
there's venues like coming out of your ears. Like, that's not even a saying. I'm always like trying to
Yeah.
use sayings that don't exist. This happens to me all the time.
It's okay to invent an idiom.
I'm making it. Yeah, this is my new idiom. I think that might be one though.
I think that is real.
That is one. But there's so many venues all
Mm-hmm.
the time, so many shows all the time. I think it's honestly harder to see bigger artists.
Word.
Like, they come through, but they're always, I mean, obviously it's always expensive everywhere.
Mhm.
But I feel like a lot of tours don't immediately go through LA.
Yeah.
Or maybe not big, like I would say like that medium, you know, that size where they're like touring,
Yeah.
but they're not coming through LA. It's like you
Yeah.
always see, it's like, oh, okay,
Mhm.
you're going to Portland, but you're not coming to LA.
And like one LA show on a tour versus one Minneapolis show. It's like a lot more people in LA.
Yeah, and like I would go to that.
Mhm.
Yeah, I don't know. So
More competitive.
I think I've seen a lot. Like I've definitely tripled the amount of music I've gone to. There's concerts all the time. I've seen great concerts. There's like the famous venues like Hollywood Bowl and like Greek Theater. Those are really fun. And then there's smaller ones like El Cid is really cool. That's when you like go down a bunch of stairs to get to. But yeah, I don't know. I think going out wise, I'm not like really gonna go out. I like going out to go to like a concert, or as I said, to play pool, or
Yeah.
bowling is also a great activity.
I'm saying.
But it's expensive.
A little bit.
And what's up
I'm
with
tired
that?
of defending it though. I'm ready for a world where
Do people
are,
not like it?
Yes. People I hang out with
They're like,
don't like
oh
bowling.
no. I'm like, what do you mean?
They're like-
It's so much fun.
I'm not really trying to go bowling.
That sucks. You're not trying to like stick your
This man's
fingers into some
off-screen
random holes in a
talking
ball.
shit about bowling.
Nah.
Some
You
random-
put on
I'm
some
trying
sweaty
to
shoes.
flame some people on the pool table.
Sweaty shoes and sticking 3 fingers in a dirty ball.
Sounds like a
Do you
Friday
have
night to me.
Like you have to cut that up. Like, no, that's like, I think that's a good time.
I'm sick.
But
Shout
yeah,
out to most but not all Target sports. I'm sure some are not that fun. Do you fuck with darts? Speaking on
darts
bar
are
sports?
they're very fun.
Hell yeah.
Not super good at it, but I don't have to be good at something to enjoy it.
Yeah. And if you're not good, I feel like it's more satisfying to do well.
Yeah, exactly.
Like I'm not good at pool, so on like the 2 times I've played in the past year, if I like get a thing, I'm like, oh,
Yeah, but you know when
Damn,
you're like,
I'm
you know when
crazy.
you're like on a team, and every time it's your turn, you don't get a single one, and you just have to be like, oh, dude, I'm so sorry, and your partner's like, no, like it's okay, and I'm like, I know you don't think it's okay, like I know you're mad because you're. That's what I hate. I'm like, I'm okay sucking, like if it's just me, but like when I'm on a team, I'm like, I feel so bad because I'm like,
yeah.
I really am.
carry.
You're like you got all of those in, and I literally am sitting here. I don't know, but I'm one or the other. I'm either like I'm like a shark, or I cannot
yeah.
get a single one in.
Yeah.
Sick.
It just depends. Depends on the night. Depends on the vibe. Honestly, I think. So, yeah.
When did you move to LA? Because you were in Wisconsin for a bit,
Yes. I
as
went-
most Minnesotans are at some point, I think.
You know what's so annoying?
Except for Al.
Everybody in LA is like, so you're from Wisconsin, right? And I'm like, is it that hard to just know that I went to school in Wisconsin and I'm from Minnesota?
Yeah.
Like, is that so mind-boggling to you?
Yeah.
They're like, yeah, like you're from Wisconsin. I'm like, no, Minnesota. They're like, wait, but I thought you were from Wisconsin. I'm like, no. I didn't just like,
It's also not that far.
oh my God. I'm like, seriously? It's not that, like, I know you grew up and you went to school in California, and then you still are in California, and that's great. It's a big state, lots going on, but some of us like to go to Wisconsin for school.
Like to. In LA, do you feel like people have a better idea of like what's happening in Minnesota or Wisconsin? Because like I'm biased. I don't feel like shit's going on in Wisconsin.
Nobody knows what's happening in Wisconsin. Are you kidding me?
But,
I don't even think they could name a city.
like I feel like if you're from here and no schools, that's like okay, yeah. Or like if you live in the cities and no Hudson, because it's like more or less part of the metro. It's like alright, yeah.
That's true.
But like
Yeah. I think honestly,
Minneapolis has attention.
I think
kind of.
people know about the Twin Cities, if anything.
Mhm.
But even then, people just get confused. It's honestly, like, it makes me sad. I'm like, you guys really... One time I had this friend, actually, Andrew. Love him to death. He's in the band. First time I met him, he was just like... And this is how I took it, and many times he said that this is not how I meant it, and I know it's not how you meant it, but he was like, oh my God, you're from the Midwest. I heard there's nothing to do there. And I was like, what? And afterwards he was
Only
like,
for
no, I
half
meant
of the
it in...
year?
He was like, no, I meant it in a cool way. Like, there's nothing to do. That's so cool. Like, I was like, I don't really know how you meant that in a cool way.
It's like, weird suburban romanticization.
I feel like he's gonna get mad at me for that. He's gonna be like, why would you say that? Love you, Andrew. I know you didn't mean it. Like, I can see where he's coming from, where LA, it's like there's an expectation of always having something to do.
Word.
But, like, here,
There's
there's
stuff going on.
there's stuff going on, but there's, like, more peace to just be.
It's slower.
And, like, sometimes it's too freaking cold. I'm not gonna go do anything. And that's
real.
okay. And that is a beautiful thing.
Yeah. being super inside on like a cozy December day when there's like snow out is like a very romantic Minnesota feeling.
Yeah, and you'll never
Not
have
this
that.
year,
You'll
'cause
never
it's
have that in
40
Los
degrees.
Angeles. You'll never have that in Los Angeles.
Is it like, is it worth the hype, would you say? Like fully living in LA?
Like,
It's maybe a controversial
I
question.
don't know. You know, I don't know if there is a hype. First of all, I didn't answer your question. I moved in May of 2022.
More
2022. Yes, May of 2022.
right after graduation.
So I graduated early
Okay.
in December 21.
Word.
Had a couple months off. I lived in Portland for like a month because I was watching those two cousins that I mentioned
Word,
earlier.
yeah.
Then I was like, you know what? I'm gonna move to LA. So I just did. I have an aunt and uncle and a grandma in LA, so it like wasn't completely out of the blue. I don't think I had like some expectation. I think I was just like, I want to live somewhere new and bigger and not cold, and like also work in entertainment in some capacity. And
Yeah.
like that's where I'm gonna be able to do that.
Were you like a PA?
Yeah.
Word. What was that experience like? Because that's where I'm trying to like break into.
PA.
And not in LA, which makes it more tough.
That is really tough.
It's weird. We have like PBS here, and that's it.
There's like small independent. I don't know. There's stuff. I think the option to be a PA is always there for me. Like I just got asked to do something, I think, and I might do it just because like I have that like FOMO thing.
Mhm.
It's like, oh, if I don't say yes to this, am I gonna regret it? But then when I'm there, I'm like, this is the stupidest thing in the world. Being a PA is like really exciting for 2 seconds until you're sitting at the same table for 12 hours.
Word.
And you're like, okay, what the hell am I doing here? I don't know. I did meet all of my good friends through the Rihanna Savage Fenty fashion show.
Hell yeah. What?
Yeah. Like-
Sick.
Oh, it's not that sick. It's like, okay, first PA show I worked, Lil Durk, Apple Music Live.
Alright.
So funny.
Alright.
So funny. First celebrity really that I saw was Lil Durk. Hilarious. He was just walking around. That was pretty funny. And then I think I didn't do anything for a while, and then I did the Rihanna shoot. That was like in a national park, in Simi Valley, if you've heard of Simi Valley. Real
Only
Bros.
from Real Bros.
Yeah. So that was
I don't know
weird.
shit about LA if I'm being real.
That's okay. You don't
I'm
need
asking
to.
such bad questions.
It's okay. So I met some of my friends, like all of my friends, actually. My roommate, Bunny. We met one day. Bunny and Savannah, my two closest friends. Like, we literally worked 12 hours of one day and have been inseparable since. It has this weird, like, PAing is like trauma bonding. You literally spend 12 hours with somebody.
Yeah.
Like, being told to lift tables all day or, like, go get chips.
Mm-hmm.
So exhilarating. Seriously, like, using your brain to the max to go pick up chips.
And just like the all-day commitment.
Yeah, and you don't get paid, like, anything.
It sounds a lot like working at a summer camp.
Yeah.
You're just on call all the time.
Yeah.
Always have like a minute task.
Yeah.
Being a counselor was different because you're with the kids all the time, but like being on the support staff, I'm not making any money. I wasn't making. I don't work in the summer camp industry anymore, to be very clear. But like, you just have to be present with a group of people all day, every day. And like, definitely get close with people when you're waiting for something to happen and then have to like put out fires together.
But then afterwards you're like, oh my god, gotta do it again.
Yeah, the memories.
You're like, oh my god.
We had so much fun putting
Once in
together
a
100
lifetime
flashlights.
experience. I have to do it again.
We did.
Yeah, so that's like exactly, it's the same thing. And it is cool. Okay, like, I worked on the Grammys. That was really cool
Yeah.
because I just disappeared for a while and watched the red carpet. And like,
Sick.
when Dave Grohl walked by, I specifically remember collapsing into my friend's arm. Not because I literally was just like, oh my god. And I was like, I like couldn't look at him. And I'm like, I don't really get that way, like, about celebrities. Like, they walk by, but there's something, I just admire him so much
Yeah.
that I was like,
Dave
oh my
Grohl's
god.
different.
It was like 2 seconds where I was like, oh my god, can't look. Like,
Yeah.
into her arms, 2 seconds, looked back. I was like, okay, that's done. That was weird. That happened. So that was cool. I mean, I got to see, like, all of those people walk by. Like, I worked the red carpet. And then I did work the Oscars for, like, 10 weeks, which was crazy.
Damn.
Like, I did, like, accounting for that. That's actually what I do right now. I do production accounting. I'm not an accountant.
I need help.
Yeah, I do. So I do like, I don't know. I'm like an assistant project manager. It was supposed to be 3 months, but it's longer than that. I started off doing it for the Oscars, 10 weeks, all for one day of the Oscars where I just kind of watched.
Yeah.
Like I just watched.
Just hanging out.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. And I like got to watch rehearsals and stuff. And I don't know if you knew, like, there's stand-ins and stuff that come and do, like, stand-ins because they have to do all the blocking of the cameras.
Yeah, yeah.
So there's, like, seat cards so they know where to pan to. So seat cards full of all the guests, and then, like, you have stand-ins who go up and, like, accept the awards. And they have to do, like, a speech, and it's so funny. And there's, like, these are people who have been doing this for, like, 20 years. They're Oscar stand-ins, and they always are.
That's crazy.
They, like, have to
Making
pick.
a career out of not actually being on an award show.
And they're, like, in SAG-AFTRA. They're, like, in the union.
Shit.
So it's, like, it's a very, I don't know. It's very interesting. And that's, I don't know. I know people who still PA, like, Thomas in our band, he PAs all the time. It's just, like, it works for some people because you don't have to be working 24/7.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have a job all the time. You just have a job for, like, 5 days in a row.
Yeah.
And then you don't work for, like, 2 weeks.
So
So for some people that works. I almost don't like it because it's like you're that close to things and like all the, not even glamour of, you're just like so close to being in, but you're not in.
Yeah.
Because you're still like a grunt.
Yeah, not a producer yet.
And you at the end of the day you have like the least amount of access to anything. And for some people that works, I think like it works for me still, like sometimes I'll do it. There's certain things I like doing. Like I loved doing the Oscars, it was really cool. Yeah, I don't know. So I guess I kind of got into the entertainment. I made that goal happen, and met good people through that. Also met Thomas, the drummer, on the Rihanna show.
Works. We are coming up on the time when the camera will stop recording.
Cut.
We'll take a quick break, but when we come back, I'd love to talk about a different type of performative work, radio.
Radio.
So we were both radio people for a little
Video
bit.
killed the radio star.
So real.
Right? Is that the song?
Yeah.
We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. Please.
Eliza Donnelly, #1 PA hater, 2024.
Bold stance.
Just kidding, love them. Anyway, okay. We're back.
We're back and going to talk about the radio.
Yeah, let's do it.
So you were with WSUM, which is like more legitimate of
The
a
snake on the
station.
lake.
The snake on the lake. And like you were one of the only other people that I like knew that was doing college radio stuff, and like Hamlin's equipment was not great. So like I was pretty envious of anyone at WSUM or Radio K who had like more shit going on. But how'd you kind of get started in that and like wanting to host a show and
Yeah.
kind of journey?
Okay, so I remember freshman year of college. I have to confess, I have not always had the coolest music taste. And I'm not saying I have like the best music taste, but like I was listening to like BS in high school. Like I don't even know.
That's so
But
fair.
It
you
was
were
just,
on
like-
the music grind though. 'Cause-
Yeah, I loved music.
I'll talk about this.
I loved music, but I was like G Herbo. Like, you know,
Ain't
I'm
nothing
like,
wrong with that.
I'm like, I was listening to stupid stuff. Like, I don't know, I look at my, like, 2018 Wrapped even, and I'm like, what is that? So,
That's fair.
I just wasn't trying to discover, I didn't know what I liked in music yet. I think I was very passively listening, but I also always loved listening to music.
Yeah.
And I always love having noise around me. Like I always have music on or something. And I remember I didn't know what to do freshman year, so I went over to radio and like started the process of doing DJ training. And they were like, you have to come up with an hour show of music. It needs to be like kind of undiscovered independent artists. And I was like, oh my god. I was like, I can't do it. And I just didn't do it. I like quit. I was like, I have too much going on. I can't possibly do this.
Trying to figure out how to be a freshman in college.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know. I like, oh my god, I can't even think of a band that I was listening to. Oh my god. whatever.
Some band.
I was like, you telling me I can't play Dayglow on the radio? Like, you know what I mean? I'm like, so,
Oof.
not being a hater, but that's what I was listening to because I just had not, you know.
And it's like 2018, like
Yeah.
the like YouTube music
Yeah.
scene.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Things were weird.
Post-Claro world.
Things were weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so then I honestly, I think I just didn't revisit. COVID happened.
Mm-hmm.
And when did I join? So I did not join radio until my senior year.
Word. Okay.
So, and I graduated early. So I really only did it for, wait. Oh, wait, no. My junior year? Wait, I'm so confused now. I think my junior year.
Word.
Confused right now, but I think it was my junior year. Junior, and that, so I had like 2 semesters and then my senior year. Something like that. It was weird. I don't know. Maybe I did it my senior year. Anyway, very late in college life,
Yeah.
I had started getting more into like alt music. I don't really know how. I think a lot of that was COVID driven and having nothing to do, and seeing all that. And so I sought out radio because I had dedicated a lot of college to more like school-based extracurriculars. Like I was like in poli-sci, like student association,
Yeah.
and like student government, and I was like, I'm gonna be a lawyer, like I have to do all of this, I want to go to law school, and I was like, I need to do something fun, and I'm not happy, and all these radio kids seem really cool, and I'm not really, like, I haven't really found my place in Madison. I don't really like it here. Like, I had good friends, but I think we didn't share a lot of the same interests, and I felt very lost. So when I joined radio, I was like, oh, this is dope. These people are cool.
Yeah.
We're having cool conversations. They like a lot of the same things as me. I feel very safe here. And I met people who were, like, training that were freshmen. So I was training with, like, younger, like, they were all coming in, too. So I actually ended up getting really close to the freshmen of that group, because everyone in radio that was my age had been doing it for 4 years. They were all like BFFs.
Yeah.
And I was like that weird girl. Not really, no one said that, but I was like, hey guys, I'm joining. Be my friend.
Yeah.
And so it was mostly the freshmen that I was friends with, and still like love them to death. So I found my community there and was like, I'll do a radio show. Did the training, did the hours for it, did some of the clubs, and just started doing a radio show. I think that was basically it. And that's kind of how I found more music too, was like trying to curate shows to different things. So yeah, I don't know.
What do you feel like the difference is when... I feel like conversation can be performance. Like, the way I talk in these is not the same as, like, how I'm talking outside. How I would talk on the radio is not the same as how I talk
Right.
when I'm not broadcasting something.
Yeah.
It's like, how do you think that kind of speaking as performance translates into music as performance, and when you're playing with Troubleshooter, like,
Oh my gosh.
do you feel like radio influenced or like broadened your ability to like get in front of people and be public?
Honestly, I've never thought about that, but probably. Because I think when you're on the radio, you perceive an audience, even if there isn't one.
Yeah.
You
Certainly with Hamlin Radio, there isn't one.
Yeah, but you're
we
like,
felt
you're
it.
talking like there is one, like
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah.
I'm talking like in that camera, there's like 300 people or something.
Hi.
hi
Bugsy Pod about to
guys.
hit 100 views.
Oh my
We're going
gosh,
crazy.
Bugsy.
But
Yeah, I think. I don't really. That's such a good question. I'm like, my brain's like, what?
That's a deep one.
It's a deep question. I think it did prepare me to create more of. I don't know if it's a persona necessarily. Maybe that's what that is. I think maybe you said that already. It's like the 2 times that I've been on stage.
yeah.
I kind of just like talk like there's nobody there, like I would on the radio. You kind of just talk. It's almost, wouldn't you say it's like to yourself, kind of? But it's like to other, it's like...
a little bit.
It's like,
Even with a co-host, it's like talking without the expectation of a response.
yeah, exactly.
Like talking to someone else without with the expectation that other people can hear you, but they can't talk to the two
They
of you.
can't say anything back. They can't, and it's like it's like what my perception of what the audience is. And like
Yeah.
what they're thinking, so I'm just going off of that.
Yeah.
That's, I don't know.
And it's weird to not know who the audience is.
Yeah, exactly. I remember when I was doing radio, I used to post it on my story. I was like, oh, swipe up, like, on it, live at 5 p.m., everybody. And it was normally just, like, my parents, if they could listen. Sometimes my friends, and I remember I came home, and some of the people that, like, I went to middle school with were like, oh, yeah, Liza, like, we listened to your show. And I was like, what do you mean? Why are you doing that? Like, what are you talking about? You're hearing
really
me, like, ramble
random
on.
people.
Yeah. And it's so crazy. And, like, one time they called in, and I was like, that's so crazy and so kind. And, like, means so much that you're, like, I thought I was, like, posting this into, like, the fucking void. Am I allowed to swear? You can do that.
No,
And I'm posting, like, it's nobody. Like, I'm just throwing it out there. This is something that I'm basically doing for myself. I have, like, a made-up audience that I'm, like, sitting beforehand, curating this playlist to. Really, I think it's just myself. I am trying to be creative and, like, explore music in a new way. And to know that someone's listening was, like, crazy, I think. And that kind of translates into band stuff. I mean, I think a lot, like, our 2 shows that we've had have been mostly our friends. But to have positive feedback always means a lot, and to have friends show up is also crazy. And even when I was, like, bringing songs, like, I never wrote songs before this year. Like, I never thought that I could write a song. And I would just sit with, like, lyrics. I would write poems or weird stuff in my journal. And I would make a chord progression and be like, okay, this could be something. And I, like, sing to it, and I'd send it to, like, my bandmates, and they were like, yeah, this is it. And I'm like, no way.
Like, damn,
I'm like, for real?
Someone sees
I'm
the
like,
value
you guys
in this,
need
that
to, like, you guys have to stop pranking me, because this is not, my ego's getting too big. Because you're telling me that this thing that I just did was good. It's like the same thing with radio. It's like, even though it's not my music and my songs, I, like, made this, and it's an hour where you're choosing to listen, like, you don't have to. Just as, like, you don't have to tell me that this is good. Like, it's genuine. It's like, because you're opting in. I don't know.
It is a weird thing, the, like, you're talking about the assumed audience, and I feel like that does create, like, an interesting tone of, like, I felt so safe on the radio because it wasn't recorded anywhere, like, it was just live.
Yeah.
And, like, I don't know, the idea that in, like, 3 years someone could find this era of episodes of this and, like, see 23-year-old me talking, like, feels weird, but, like, radio didn't have that. Like, I felt so free, just being like, if you're not listening, you're not gonna find it, you're never gonna hear this. And if you are, great.
It's like, thank you.
Yeah, like I don't know, I think not being able to see the audience was a super freeing thing for me personally. On the other hand, when you're looking out at a room full of people, how do you think that impacts, like, how comfortable you are performing?
Oh my god.
Especially given that Troubleshooter is, like, a more recent project.
It's so scary.
Yeah.
I told everyone, the first show, it was all our friends. Like, it was a big group, a big crowd. Like, we filled the place. And because the other bands that were playing had more fans. First song was shaking so much. I was, like, I was barely getting those chords. Like, I was like, and I don't think you could tell in my voice at all, but when I was singing, I was like, no. I was like, I can't do this again. I was like, never again. Like, this has been really fun and awesome. Like, I'm so glad that we found this. Yeah. I'm really glad that we had this moment, but I can't ever do this again. I was like, I can't feel like this again. Then at the end of it, I was like, oh, that was amazing. I definitely want to do that again. That was the best thing that's ever happened to me. But I think that was, like, getting through it. There was a moment where I was like, I'm not going to get through this. Like, I'm so scared. So I think that's very different because I don't even know where I was going with that. Oh, it's just scarier. Like, it's like you live with feedback from the audience, and it's like a full commit. It's like I've fully committed to this.
In a different way, like, you really can't back out.
You can't back out.
Because it's like, what are you going to do? Like, tell 100 people that you're just not going to perform?
No, and that's way more embarrassing. Whereas, like, if, like, I think, again, not to compare radio or anything like that, but, like, it's so low stakes.
Yeah.
Like, you're just kind of pressing play, and you don't have to necessarily do a voice break or talk, and
Yeah.
and you don't have people afterwards, lying to you, telling you it was good or something like that. I think that's everyone's fear also, is like, you have to be so honest with me. Like, was that good or not? Like, I feel that way with when I come with songs and stuff. I'm like, just tell me it's not good. Tell me you don't like it. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't leave it.
It's like constructive criticism does feel good.
It does. It feels better than, like, getting
Like,
lied
yeah.
to.
No,
Yeah.
it was great. I wouldn't change a thing.
Right.
Because, like, I don't know, with videos, it's like, I've had people watch or, like, screen stuff before I put it out, and, like, I'm not, no shade, Alex, but being like, yeah, that's good, but, like, I see the things I don't like about it, and, like, feel like those things aren't necessarily valid if other people are like, oh, I thought it was good, and, like,
Yeah.
oh, am I being nitpicky? Like, oh, like, is this really a problem, or am I tweaking? And, like,
You kind of have to be nitpicky.
for real.
Yeah. I don't
For
know. I
real.
think it also it's like, for other people to ask their opinion on something, like, we all do a level of lying until we really realize that the person genuinely wants feedback. Because there's plenty of times I've asked for feedback on something that I don't really want feedback on.
Word.
Right? I mean, like, that's part of growing. One of the best people for me for feedback is my dad. And he's always been like that. Like, with my radio show, which is lower stakes, and maybe I don't think I wanted feedback on in the same level, which
Yeah.
ties in. I was just kind of like, let me do my thing.
Yeah.
Because who cares?
Yeah.
Only you care. He's like, you should do less of this in your voice break, or like, you were rambling on about that for too long. And I'm like, oh, Dad. But when I send music now, I think, like, it is so much better for me to hear, like, critique from him, or, like, constructive criticism. Because I'm like, okay, you have only the best interest in this. Like, you have the best intention. So, like, if you're telling me this, like, I am going to take it to heart. And
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that's, like, I always rely on that. Obviously, there is that level where I'm like, okay, you're saying you can't hear the vocals. Is that just because you want to hear your daughter singing? Or is it because you can't hear the
Everyone will
vocals?
always tell everyone that the vocals aren't loud enough.
No one can ever... That is, like, the age-old problem. I'm like, dude, it's loud music. But also, the songs I'm sending you are demos on an 8-track. It is not mastered. Like, you cannot hear it because it's not good quality.
Yeah. And
Like,
constructive criticism on something that hasn't been released and, like, can still be tweaked versus, like,
oh my god,
oh,
yeah.
I liked this or didn't like this about your radio show that was broadcast live. And that happened.
That's worse. And that's, obviously, that's not my dad's intention. That's, for him, that's, like, building on the next thing. But it is, it's terrible to have worked really hard on something and put it out there, or like release a song, and or you had all these songs mastered and decided it was vinyl and like uploaded them and they're like ready to go, and then someone's like, I probably would have like made that guitar a little bit louder.
Yeah.
It's like, well,
it's done.
it's too late now.
Yeah.
That's not
You had
constructive.
your chance.
Yeah. I don't know. But also, with stuff like that, and with radio show, with music, it has to be, like, you can value other people's opinions. It has to be what you want it to be.
Yeah.
Which I think is also,
Absolutely.
like, really a beautiful thing about being in a band, but also, like, really complicated is finding, we don't fight, but, like, that's our thing with tone. Like, the tone of guitar is always, like, the biggest debate.
You have 4 opinions.
Because they're like, we want it, like, overdrive up, chunkier. Like, and I'm like, no, I want it brighter and clean. It's, like, back and forth all the time. But, like, coming to that agreement together and, like, finding that perfect sound is, like, so exciting. And that's something that no one else's opinion, like, can really affect, because it's what we want the song to sound like.
Yeah.
So I'm like, it's not your song.
I do have a question on this note, but I also just want to interject to everyone who ever said that Melanie and I should have not gone on IMDb so much on our college radio show. Fuck y'all. That was the point. Also, go watch episode 3. We go on IMDb.
I love IMDb.
But
I actually
with our
have an
radio
IMDb
show.
page.
For real?
Yeah,
Yo, that's tough.
I know.
Gold.
Goals.
That's sick. But anyways, in the kind of constructive criticism part, when you're like working on a mix with the band, how do people approach like critiquing other people's instrument, or like you play guitar and saying, how like comfortable do you feel talking about like how the drums should be and sound, or like vice versa? How do you think other people feel about like, what if we did this with the vocals? And like, how do you feel when your bandmates have opinions on your performance?
Really good question, by the way.
I'm a host for hire.
You know, I think that we haven't quite reached the point where we've moved past our own self-criticism.
Word.
Like, everybody is so critical of themselves, like, they already know when the take wasn't right.
Yeah.
Like, we track a song, Andrew does, like, all the lead, and he'll, like, put down a guitar track that I think is really good, or I'm like, maybe it's not his strongest, but it was still good, and he'll be like, no, we gotta do it again.
Yeah.
No, we gotta do it. And I'm like, okay. So he has his own kind of thing, and same with the drums. I mean, definitely, like, in songs that I've written, I struggle the most with, like, articulating what I want from drums, and maybe Al has, like, good feedback for that. I never know.
You wanna hop back in?
I never know what to say about, like, what I want to hear from drums. Like, I don't know anything about drums, and the biggest thing for me is I'm like, I don't want as many cymbals. And then it's like, okay. Like,
I feel like, my bad, I'm stuffing the mic down my throat. I feel like you should say it however you can, and literally however you can communicate it to your drummer. And I don't know your drummer. What's their name?
Thomas.
If Thomas is raw, Thomas will be able to figure out what you mean based on what you say.
That's cold.
Yeah, yeah.
Because Emily always says that to me. They're like, I don't know how to do that. Or like, it doesn't happen super often, but I'll play something and then they're like, no, I don't really like that. Do like more like...
Yeah.
And then I'm like, okay, I think I know what you mean. And then I do it, and then they're like, yeah, that's what I meant.
So
and
that works, like the literally vocalizing the sounds.
Yeah, like literally however you can conceptualize to do it, your drummer is raw enough to figure it out.
Like,
yeah.
if you can scat it.
The scatting is dope. I need to get better at that, because I'll just be like, no, I want less of that. And he's like, what? And I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, I don't know. And he's like, it drives him crazy, I'm sure. But like, we've definitely gotten there.
And like you just need to develop the language with someone.
Yeah,
like,
I think that's
like
the biggest thing.
after you do it with time, it's like you'll just be able to talk. Like, yeah.
I'm very that's very exciting to me to get to that point. Because like so far it's been great. Sometimes they'll be like, did you like those drums that I just did? And I'm like, honestly, like, I don't know if I was like listening because I'm focusing so much on myself.
Yeah.
So it's like a balance. I do that with. I think we all do that. Especially when we're practicing in our studio, which is like his garage.
Sick.
I can't hear like anybody. Like I can barely hear myself singing.
Yeah.
Like none of us can hear each other. It's so funny, and like we have to like record it to be like, what does that sound like? So that's the other thing. I'll be like, you guys think my vocals sounded off? And they're all like, we couldn't hear you. And I'm like, great, that's awesome. So glad that we got there. Like I don't know. So yeah, I think we haven't quite gotten to the point of fully critiquing because we're doing so much self-critiquing.
Yeah.
But there have been times where I'm like, I think my voice sounded off, and they'll be like, it sounded better on the last try, and I'm like, okay.
Kind of
So
getting
what
more
am I?
comfortable
Yeah.
being
So I'm like,
able
what
to
am I
work
doing
together.
wrong? But for the most part, we're all learning. Like, Thomas has not been playing drums that long,
Word.
and I'm very amazed at his ability to play. I think he's been playing for like 2 years, which is not that long.
How long have you been playing guitar?
Like 2 years.
Okay, word.
Yeah, I've picked it up.
Sick.
I'm very much. I'm not like I'm a rhythm guitarist. One day maybe I'll do something lead,
That's
but I'm
so
not.
fair.
Yeah, I'm like.
You're gonna do it.
So I don't know. With time,
You're just gonna do it.
I think so. It's such a
No,
practice.
I don't think so. Like, I know you're gonna do it.
Thank you. I
Alex
appreciate the
strong
belief.
arm.
I appreciate the belief. I'm like, yeah. So
No buts.
no butts. No butts allowed.
For real. On this podcast,
No butts. Butt
we
free.
gotta keep clear of the YouTube filters, except for swearing, which is allowed.
Swearing's awesome.
Semi-serious question. What is this band's relationship to Modelo?
We love Modelo.
It seems like
We love beer.
Word.
There's always beer. Okay, the studio is called the Plum.
Okay.
We
just named
the Pond.
for this episode.
You get it. So the Pond.
Naming
the
the
Plum.
studio is important.
It's because Thomas and his friends, specifically one of his friends, Aaron, who is a very talented artist, like musician. He goes by AP, but I think AP81 actually on Instagram. Anyway, he's really talented, and they have they kind of set up the studio, like him and all his friends, a bunch of them. I'm not going to name all of them, but they were like live streaming just for fun. Again, another example of just doing radio for fun and streaming stuff. They were streaming like a radio show on Twitch and then would have it on
Sick.
SoundCloud and kind of just made like a whole thing. I think
It's
so-
very new age.
Yeah.
Doing it just on the internet.
just do it. Like why not? Put it out there.
Fuck it. Talk show live.
Exactly. So they kind of had that going, and then I think our band kind of took over that time, and Aaron's getting into his own music. He does shows a lot. That's what I'll go out because he plays at this place called Low Boy a lot. He does sets, and then he and his friend have this thing called Keep in Touch. They do shows and like DJ sets. Where was I going with that? So anyway, wait. The Plum. The Plum always has beer in the fridge, and for a while it was Modelo, so we were all drinking Modelo, and I thought that was funny. So we'd go out and get Modelo. Affordable.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not like drinking draft beer. I can get, what do I look like in LA? Draft beer.
Yeah.
Unless I'm at like a brewery, really treating myself to a $9 beer, it's gonna be a Modelo or a PBR
Yeah. The Midwestern way.
or
PBR hams.
I don't love Corona. Actually,
Me neither. Bad time for the world.
yeah, for
Sorry about
real.
2020 world.
Corona.
Stupid ass joke.
I
But we'll
like
keep it in.
so good.
Anyways.
I like Pacifico
Ooh.
more than Corona. So we'll do all of those, but yeah. Modelo mostly started as a joke. We had those like 0.5 pictures.
Yeah.
And then so I don't know. We all drink. I should also add, because I haven't mentioned him, but like Matthias is also in our band. We added him later on.
So you're all 5-piece now?
5-piece.
Sick. Okay.
He was filling in on bass for a little bit because Bunny was really busy and wasn't able to practice, so we had Matthias on bass. Now Bunny's transitioning back into bass, and we're probably gonna I just think it's good to have what's wrong with having someone who can step in or add something, like we could add a third guitar. Why not? We could add a Moog. We could do a little synth.
Hell yeah.
We could add extra vocals. I'm open to it, so Matthias has joined. We got Matthias, Andrew, Thomas, Bunny, me.
Sick.
Troubleshooter.
Hell yeah.
Anyway, yeah. So Modelo.
We are at about 25 minutes. Introing the band is a crazy way to end the podcast, but I forgot to ask.
Yeah,
to
what the
intro
heck?
the band.
I know. I'm did we cover enough? Did we get enough info?
I feel like it's pretty good. episode.
Good. I hope I didn't dox myself. Did I say anything bad?
I don't think so.
Am I gonna be
was
canceled?
listening. I think you're good.
Only when I called Andrew up for talking about the Midwest. He's gonna be so mad at me.
That's some beef you're gonna have to
Oh,
settle
and
down.
that's
not
interpersonal.
getting Bunny's birthday, which is May 9th, I think. Maybe.
We'll see. Sorry, Bunny. If
I've
it's
done it
not.
twice. Dub it.
I'm gonna have to find the 2 spots in the video. It takes not a lot of work to edit these. I act like it's hard, but it's not.
Hey, editing is hard.
Editing is hard. There's a good damn reason I've only made 2 of the unseen videos. The Comic-Con video whooped my ass, low-key.
Dude, crazy.
But 3rd one coming soon.
Woo!
But yeah.
One more thing to
Yeah.
plug. Bunny, why she was so busy, editing our music video we just did for Creeping Charlie,
Sick.
which will be coming out
Word.
in January.
Damn, okay.
We also have a production company, Savannah, Bunny, and I, called Lucky Star.
Do y'all have, socials for that?
Not yet.
Word.
Stay tuned.
I'll put the troubleshooter stuff.
Let's
in,
go.
So. But sweet.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for coming on. Hope y'all found something interesting, informative, insightful. Yeah. Are y'all, you don't have to give a date, but are y'all releasing music anytime soon?
2024.
2024, get ready. If you're in LA, go see Troubleshooter.
Yeah,
And
I
if
think
you're
we have a
not-
show on February 3rd. I don't know where yet. So,
If there is a flyer, I'll put it up. Yeah, I'll see
thanks.
it. But thanks for watching so much. Check out Troubleshooter, and bye.
Bye.
Ponder Media.
Ponder Media.
Ponder Media.
You are watching Ponder Media.